match though. It was kind of a rocky game for the side of Infamous, but then that one Kraken still just sealed
Mm.
the game for them. I'm very excited
Oh,
into
what
this
a game!
second.
What a game that was!
I know it was. It was a really. It just kept me on the edge of my seat. Anyways, we are going into the second game, but before that, I am just gonna do a quick run through of the teams and who's in the teams at least. On the side of Eanix, we have Rubber Monkey, I Angry You Die, Truffles, Truffless, and Kosh. And on the side of Popeyes, we have Aeon, Triple Two, Tezamoy, 98, Chingy, Azure, and Zyrano.
Yeah, so Eanix are, I believe, and they need 7 points to be guaranteed to not be in the Challenger battles next week. So the bottom 3 teams at the end of today's games, bottom 3 teams in terms of points will be playing against the top 3 teams from the Challenger Series in challenge battles next week. Whoever wins those challenge battles will be in the Vainglory 8 for the next split. So it's really important that the teams can get out of the bottom 3 so they don't have to play in those challenger battles, and they will be guaranteed a spot in split 2 of the Vainglory 8. But for this first game, the draft is ready. So without further ado, we're going to go into the draft.
Begins.
Right, coming into the second draft, or rather the draft for the second semi-finals between Eanix and Popeyes. I personally, like, just looking back at the games itself, just look at the games itself, we do actually see the side of Eanix or Popeyes, and Popeyes, Eanix rather, they do favor a lot on their Baron's band out. It is quite a priority. Oh, we actually do see them banning out that Fox, probably going for that Idris, and then of course in response to that, we do see a Baron.
I'm sure your microphone appears to be robotic again, so I just...
Yep, I'm back.
You're back, that's good. So
There
I
you
think
go,
the
yes,
Lyra
I'm
pick
back.
is just expected. Lyra, if she's not banned out, she's generally first pick for Team A. And again, we're seeing a lot of emphasis on Kestrel. Kestrel has seemed to become really strong in the meta, given that Baron and Idris are generally banned away, and Vox is always, almost always banned away or picked quite early on. We've seen a lot of emphasis on Kestrel, because you can either go Crystal Jungle, which was on the last game, which was well played with, was played extremely well, or she can go to lane and weapon pack carry. Glaive Bam gave a really good flex pick, and they don't want to play it really. And Glaive's actually really good. Weapon Glaive is really good into a Kestrel, so you can afterburn her out of position, and then you're in a lot of trouble. I think, okay, they're going to ban the Grace. They want to pick one healer and ban away the other meta healer. It's unlikely that they're going to pick Adagio, but they might not want to give away the double heal Adagio-Lyra combination. It's a bit unlikely. They're more likely to pick a Catherine. Catherine works well with Kestrel, or they could go more flex captain or jungle. And they're just going to go Arden. I think Catherine's not going to be picked up against them because they've already picked Lyra, so they're happy to pick up Arden instead.
Well, yeah, definitely. I must agree with you. Like I said before, I went all robotic. It's that the side of Eanix really favors and really like that Baron pickup, and it's quite interesting. Popeyes do pick up on that and then immediately ban the Baron following the second ban. We do see a Samuel being picked out for the side of Eanix. I think it's a rather strong pick. If Eanix do go for the triple comp, which is highly unlikely because Castro is already being picked out, so they might just settle for that Idris, which they do.
Yeah. So
there you go. So I like the team comp coming up from the side of Eanix. I think the side of Popeye should respond to that Idris with a really good jungler, early Crystal jungler, or maybe not even Crystal jungler, just go for the Grumjo and then put Crystal Castro in lane. Although that is a lot of risk doing that, but again, Grumjo can take out that Samuel in the early game. If not, then Crystal Batiste.
I'd like to see a Batiste here, because he's so good against Idris, and if you can ordain Samuel when his Drifting Dark is coming, and moving in any direction really, then he's either have to block to stay in his Drifting Dark, or he's going to be stuck outside of it after a little bit. And so I'd like to see that with a lane weapon Kestrel. Lane weapon Kestrel is good into Idris. They've banned away Glaive, so they can't pick Glaive, who's also really good into Idris.
Yep.
But lane weapon Kestrel is one of the best ranged weapon power heroes against someone like Idris. They could try and outpoke the Samuel with someone like a Celeste. Don't think it'd be smart. They're going to try and outpoke the Samuel with a Scarf. That's risky. Scarf and Samuel both have very similar types of poke. They're both directional projectiles being fired. Samuel obviously has 2. Scarf only has 1. I think it's going to be hard for Popeyes to execute this properly, because I think the Samuel can poke out quite well, and then he can aggressively drift in dark and go in with Idris if they want to go in. But I think it's definitely possible for Popeyes to pull this off, and if they do, they have much stronger, much more damage. Scarf will out-damage Samuel, and Weapon Kestrel will out-damage almost anyone. So it's going to be hard for Popeyes to pull it off, but if they do, they probably will win.
Well, yeah, definitely. I must agree with you. But then there is one thing I must say. The Scarf pickup, it's a rather peculiar one, because both of us, we are expecting that Crystal Baptiste, because Baptiste is just so strong into that of Samuel. Like we've seen and witnessed in the past, maybe not in Southeast Asia, but in NA and EU. Usually, because with the Baptiste being opened up and it's free for all to pick, and if you do see your opponent coming up with that Samuel, of course, your next more intelligent choice would be that of Baptiste because of your ordained, like you said. And also, Fearsome Shade, when you actually hit that level 6, kind of pushes Idris away, or pushes Idris's team away when Idris is Shimmer striking into you. So I think it's a good pick for the Baptiste, but then if they do not pick it up, then Scarf, I think it's an iffy pick. And like you said, that team comp coming up from Popeyes, it's executable. It's just not that easy to execute. But then if they do pull it off, they might come out on top of Eanix. Anyways, I'm quite interested to see how this Chingy would actually pull off the Scarf. Not exactly a very strong early game hero, because we did see Chingy on that Grumjaw, on that Koshka, and Chingy kind of excels in the early game hero. Yep, so I'm interested to see how Chingy is going to pull this Scarf off. And of course, on the side, I'm not discounting the side of Eanix as well. Eanix, they have a very meta comp, they have good poke, they have a very balanced and easier to execute comp with that Lyra, Idris, and of course, Samuel. So it really just goes down to late game and who can snowball in the early game, if not the late game.
Yeah, I think Udai on this Samuel should have a really good job. Quite an easy time invading Scarf in the early game, because Samuel has such a strong level 2 power spike that he can really push Scarf away from her jungle. Scarf is currently taking the backs, which is smart. You want to get Scarf leveled up, actually going for the tree and then looking to fight 2v3. Samuel's at the backs. I think Popeyes do know, which is why Aeon's rotating down. He's going to go back to his lane, try and farm up. It just was trying to invade, trying to get some, trying to get the mid tree away. He's not quite going to get it. Just going to go back up to lane, and he is 1v2, so he's not going to be too aggressive. But I think, as you said, with the Lyra, if they get slightly overextended, slightly caught out, they've got a Lyra and Peel system to keep them healthy, and so they'll be fine. But if Popeyes get caught out, you're up against an Idris who can secure kills like no one's business, and you've only got a Vanguard to try and keep you alive, which once the Vanguard runs out, you no longer get about it, whereas once the heal runs out, you still have your health. And I think Shingy will secure this. Yeah, you're not going to steal that away from the Scarf. So Shingy happy to get that mid-tree and then back off. Aeon is only level 1, now hit level 2. And Truffy's up in lane, just trying to farm up. I don't think Idris is going to be that aggressive compared to what Samuel should be doing. Samuel will be trying to invade Scarf. Not yet, but quite soon. Because obviously Scarf is quite hard to invade, so you can clear the jungle so quickly. But if you could do it, someone like a Samuel's really good on that. If you could do it effectively, you'll stop Scarf going towards the late game, and then you can win the game before Scarf has a chance to get her.
I must point out though, the team comp coming up from the start of Popeyes is just so strong, so much stronger in the early game as compared to that of Eanix. And I'm quite surprised to see Popeyes not doing any early game, whatever sort of invade at all. And it's quite confusing to me how Popeyes is playing, because we do actually see Chingy on that very on that Scarf, and he's used to doing this early game phase. Oh, there might be some pushing coming out from the lane. Chingy is going for the turret, Spitfire followed by a Goose.
Yeah, the Scarf knows how to burn the turret very quickly. He just managed to pick up a couple of CS before porting home. that left Popeyes being able to push this turret just a little bit. But Idris has now got his heavy steel, really good ice wind to just get clearing farm reasonably quickly, because you're so slow at your level 1 farm clear without any items. And he's actually going to get for the farm instead of the turret, because Scarf isn't going to most out to lane that much. We saw her get a goop, Spitfire goop onto the turret just to burn it down as much as possible. But she's not going to go constant lane, she's going to go solo jungle. You already see it's about 4 minutes in, so 3.5 minutes in, Scarf's already level 3, level 5, might even be level 6 if she takes the Zelda tree. It doesn't look like it's going to be contested. So that's really good leveling for Shingy. She's actually slightly ahead of Samuel on CS, which is so important. On CS and even on levels as well. Someone can go carry that. So much damage as a Spitfire. But Aeon's actually going to fall to the massive bonus from Samuel. Shingy's even lower than IQ, much lower than IQ die, and Truffy's just going to poke this turret down. And that was a really good counter engage from Eanix. It looked like they were behind after the Bumper Monkey went very low, but then IQ die went in with the Drifting Dark, very aggressive, and killed Aeon so quickly. This might even be a turret. Kesh is now back, so they're not going to dive too deep. Truffy just wants a little bit more poke, and I expect Eanix is going to back off. IQ die, pop a potion, and he'll go to his backs. Same with Scarf. She didn't really want to be fighting in lane there, she just wants to farm up. Now he's level 6, 1.5 minutes in. Really good for Shingy, out leveling IQ die and out jungling him as well. It's really good for Popeyes, even though Eanix won that team fight. And I'm probably going to take this turret, there's a lot of pressure on it, it goes quite soon. But Popeyes are probably going to have a better time when it comes to late game if they could just execute what they need to do. Just like this, get a Spitfire goop onto Truffy's, one glimmer shot and he goes down very low. But he's just going to farm this up. Once again, Scarf doesn't need to fight, she just wants to push Truffy's back, make him lose a bit of CS.
Yeah, we do see Scarf already picking up that Frostburn, and on the side of Iron Ryudai, the other Crystal Jungler, not even close to a first tier 3 item. So I mean, granted he's sitting on 3 Crystal Bit, 1 Energy Battery, and of course that of a Heavy Prism. Oh, they might be looking for a fight right now.
The Drifted Dark going sideways, going to get some nice verdicts. Poke onto Aeon. Aeon's got half health from a couple of empowered Maz and verdicts. Shingy's going to try and Spitfire them as bit in the bush. IQ's going to be able to get away with the Imperial Sigil. And Truffy's just going to try and push his wave. That's Goop doesn't quite land. But it's in a good position. As soon as Truffy tries to basically attack minions to the farm, there was a Goop in the way, so we couldn't do it. There's another aggressive Drifting Dark from IQ die. But similarly, as Dragon's Breath, there's no block. Love the Oblivion. IQ going to pick up the kill, going to get a nice bit of healing from that power basic attack. But it looks like Ian's going to have to back off. Shingy did get slept out of the Dragon's Breath. That was well played from IQ die. Obviously, Shingy didn't have a block and still can't afford one. But that's really going to be important for Scarf to get that reflex block, because the Oblivion's quite easy to land on a Dragon's Breath because you know exactly where Scarf's going to go. It takes a long time to channel, she's going to come straight towards you, so you can predict that and you can put your Oblivion down in the right position. I think that was another good fight for Eanix, but they traded kills in that one. They didn't come out ahead, and Popeyes will have a really good. And especially this weapon Kestrel, if she's not behind, she'll out damage most heroes. Truffy's is level 6, going to smartly not face check the bush, he would have died. Could he check the bush, he would have died. Aeon strikes onto IQ Die being okay. Aeon going low for the poke, so is Truffy's. I think IQ Die almost was better poke, but another Spitfire landing on Truffy, so he's going to have to farm up to get some health. Just going to dodge that one with the Shroud Step. And Popeyes, actually Kestrel backed off, and Eanix wants to push in. She's going to get a good goop, lots of damage on Truffy. If he wants to farm, he has to stand in the goop. And IQ Die similarly, if he wants to go in a Drifting Dark, he has to stand in the goop. And he's going to try and poke out Aeon without taking Idris' farm. And both teams back in.
Well, I must say,
no one's probably going.
I must say though, Truffy's is going in. Truffy's is taken down really low.
Yep, said no one wants to go in, but Truffy's does. A good push Scarf away. Oblivion gonna land. Fountain used before. It's gonna be okay, but that's IQ almost gonna fall to Aeon. That's the weapon Kestrel. Needed loads of damage. Truffy's trying to body block, but Monkey got in before him. And both members of Eanix just there, just trying to save IQ Die for the one shot. They both wanted to take the damage for him, and that Shacklin will secure the kill. Kestrel with a very greedy port. That's always sometimes it works, it gets you to shot quick, sometimes you get a dive into Shingy, and that's so much damage. A couple of Malison Verdicts and a Shacklin, and Shingy has to back off. Turret will fall. That's the first turret for Eanix. We saw that obviously Weapon Kestrel has a lot of damage, but so does Idris and Samuel. If you let yourself get hit by the double Chakram, because you're standing still, you're porting home, then Idris is going to burst you down really quickly.
I must say though, I think it was down to draft for this game, because Aeon on this Kestrel, he just don't seem as comfortable on this Kestrel as when Aeon is playing Vox, because the whole of yesterday, and for all the matches yesterday, we only do see Aeon picking out one hero, and that would be Vox. So it's a rather clever ban coming from the side of Eanix, just removing this Vox and just forcing Aeon onto, you know, a hero that's not exactly very comfortable with. I mean, just look at his KDA alone. He's sitting at 0, 3, and 1. It's quite obvious. It is obvious that, you know, Aeon is just not as comfortable on this Vox as he is on that Castro as he is on that Vox.
Yeah, and Samuel's going to go in, but I love that cover someone in, and then the corner's going to come down from Arden. Monkey's taking most of this damage. I'm sure he'll be fine with that. Shingy's still well on Truffy's. Truffy's almost going to full Crucible use. That's a nice ability to keep him healthy. Iron died into it more than Aeon's going to get that kill with the Kestrel. Nice. I'll get passage away, almost trolling out Truffy's. He almost walked through it the wrong way, but Monkey's going to run. Truffy's will be just about okay. He's going to strike into his ally. And this will be a return turret. I don't think Truffy should even try and stop it, but he's going to. He's got an Imperial Sigil from Lyra, and Shingy's going to come up.
Oh, okay.
He did manage to stop the turret, so that was well played from Truffy. He's got himself a Book of Unity. He's going to get a little bit healthy from clearing these minions. He's got an Imperial Sigil from Lyra, and the gold lead is negligible for either team, unless Eanix wants to take this gold mine. And Kestrel wanted to port home with low energy. He spotted the gold mine moving, is now going to try and steal it. Kestrel's good at stealing gold mines, but Monkey needs to tank the glimmer shots. And they can secure it. Yeah, that'll be easily secured by Samuel. You've just got to stand on the side of Kestrel, and she won't be able to steal gold mines away from you.
Well,
so
yeah.
Pushing the gold lead to Eanix. They're now about 1k ahead, so that's good for them.
Yeah, like I said, it is just down to forcing Aeon to be on a carry that's not exactly very comfortable with. We must agree, Aeon is this one-trick pony. They might be able to take this first turret down, and they do.
Scarf will be able to secure that turret. Here's the Dragon's Breath. There is the Oblivion available, but you're not going to use it yet. Get out of the Dragon's Breath. There it is, trying to secure the color like Aeon, but it is blocked. It's blocked because boy. To keep Aeon alive. Argudai still nice and healthy, quite low on energy, Samuel. So they might be able to get this turret. Aeon actually wants to port home and just will just run away, leave this turret to die, and just try and get some farm after.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, that turret was a definite for the side of Eanix, and Eanix coming into this game looking very strong against Popeyes, even forcing Chingy to go onto a hero that we do not see Chingy very often on, and that is that Scarf. Like we said, we must agree that in draft, Chingy would have a better chance, better odds going against the side of Eanix with that Crystal Batiste pickup. But then again, it's down to how comfortable you are in that hero as compared to how well that hero is played, or how well that hero is in the meta. So honestly, I still think for the late game, if the side of Popeyes can hold out, they would have the better comp as compared to that of Eanix. But then the problem with Kestrel is that if you force a Kestrel into turtling up, like we saw when the side of Elite 8 forcing Infamous to turtle up, when Infamous was on that Kestrel, they just fed really badly. Ooh, Travis is going in for
Good poke. Good poke from Eanix. Kestrel's going to secure that trim, but good Malison Verdicts were good from Samuel. Try to land got a shot from onto Shingy, but he's now going to Tesboy. It's going to be Atlas, but get a lovely heal to keep nice and healthy. Aeon wants to go on the backside, but Travis is going to boost away smartly, get away from that Crystal Sentry. Bit of poke from the Chakram, And Eanix could try and take the sentry. It's just walked all the way around the jungle. We're going to go for a quick stroll. The Crystal Sentry just to follow you, but that will be the first life eliminated. It was so far away from where Popeyes thought it would be. You expect the Crystal Sentry to be in your jungle near your back, so it was just by the gold mine, so they couldn't really go and contest that. And that'll be another decent payout for Eanix. They're just pushing their advantage. Contraption on Lyra is so good. She's already picked up the Echo, so that's either a double Imperial Sigil, a double White Wall, or a double Arcane Passage. You could really use the Echo on whatever's best for each particular team fight. And Sammy with a broken mid is a good time for Eanix to fight. But Kestrel has got a lot of pokes, so they need to be careful about that. His basic effects do hurt Rob Monkey, and here's going to be double stun on the gauntlet. Wasn't blocked up, shaking the Dragon's Breath. And that's going to be Aogyudai going very low, but he's Sammy, he's going to sustain so much. Just from that, just from the start. And the block is going to come out on from Tezza Boy on the Oblivion. And Aogyudai going to try and keep this turret alive. Truffy's getting a Treant to keep himself healthy, and that's Popeyes backing off. They don't want to go any further. And Aogyudai with the journey boots is going to go in. He's got the boost up, going to get another 12 seconds. Shingy taking some poke, giving it back herself. She's doing well to dodge these mounts of verdicts from Samuel. He's almost going to fall the front wall. He's going to save Samuel. And Truffy's jumped in a little bit too late. Aeon is there. Shingy and Aeon are both so low. Truffy's could go in if he really wants to. Nope, he's just going to farm up, get nice and healthy from those minions, and probably take some jungle away. Just mid some fronts. Don't want to risk any more.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean,
good fight from Eanix. They turned it around.
Yeah, in that team fight, it was just Aogyudai just miscommunicating with that team. I mean, Aogyudai went in really, really deep on that. Samuel just trying to take Chingy down on that Scarf, and there was Tezza Boy there and Aeon to just back Chingy up, and Aogyudai did not manage to score that kill. Granted, there's chase potential for Samuel. Yeah, you're in Drifting Dark, you have your Malice and Verdict, you can chase very well, or rather you can kind of full chase very well. But then of course, we cannot forget the fact that Truffy's is there, and Truffy's has got damage in a 1v1 in a all-out team fight. I don't see the side of Popeyes winning at all, because Truffy's know that their targets generally would be that of Chingy, because Aeon is just so paralyzed on this Castro. There's really nothing Aeon can do. For every glimmer shots that he shoots out, Aogyudai can just sustain back, can just recover back with his passive. Ooh, Tezza Boy is going in.
Eanix trying to set up a gang for one falling ground. That's Tezza Boy going to fall. He used the fountain, but it was too late. And that's the camera tap could get a double stun. Kestrel not going to risk it. If that was me, I would tried to get the stun and then died, but Aeon's far too smart for that. Just backing away, not being too risky, and Eanix were waiting. They're waiting in Popeyes jungle for Popeyes to rotate down. But he just threw a chakram out towards the Kraken, and it was flared out by Popeyes, so they knew that there was a chakram. So they knew where it was coming from, they knew where it was going, they knew there was an interest. One shot just to help Eanix secure this Kraken. very, very nice to help out. They have much slower Kraken clear than probably thought. So that would be 3 Kraken. It's probably just going to be the 1 turret that Eanix are going to get. They might get a second, but I doubt they're going to push this for the win. Scarf and Kestrel can kill Kraken very quickly when they're trying to defend it, and Truffy's is not good at pushing Kraken. He's more of a team fight hero with Idris. You could only really chakram for poke on the turrets. So I don't expect them to actually team fight here.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised if the side of Eanix do actually go in for a team fight like now.
Yeah, they are going to go in. There's the gauntlet, and now got the Echo for a second gauntlet, and it was not used. It was on the Vanguard by accident, so there's not a second gauntlet, but from Tezza Boy. Shingy's going very low. So there's the White Wall from the Arcane Passage, but Aogyudai's not going to follow it. They're just going to try and push the turrets instead. They push Popeyes to their Crystal Sentry, but Monkey's going to try and stop the port. He will stop both carries porting. Kraken's just banged on the toes. Aeon's not going to get it. Truffy's going to secure that kill. Chakra for Shingy. Truffy's just going to chase Shingy. He's like, okay, I'm going to turn on you. I've got a sentry. You've got nothing, and I'm just going to port home. Truffy's going to dive for it, but he's going to stop Shingy porting. Very smart. Truffy's, he knew that he could either run away and let Shingy port, and he'd have to port home, or he just died and stopped Shingy porting, let the Kraken get a second turret. And Popeyes did decide to engage with the gauntlet. I think they should have just backed off, waited for Idris to engage, and then countered by just defensive gauntleting and going under their turret. But the same outcome's still very similar. Kraken gets 2.5 turrets. I'm sure Eanix will be happy with that. 400 gold for them, and only one very crystal turret. And Idris can easily backdoor that turret. There's no question. If he's not spotted, he can either do the wall jump if he trusts his ability on that B-side wall, or he can just walk through the lane and he can easily backdoor.
Yeah, but we do see scout traps are in place in the entrance of the red side space, just so to prevent that backdoor. And we do see a lot of Idrises actually just going in for the backdoor. Anyways, we do see infusions being picked up on the side of the blue team. Travis is going in, standing on the goop right now, taken down to half health.
Lower's coming through, but that's the double stun of the corner of Travis, the second gauntlet. Arguna's going to get stunned up again. So well played from Tensorboy. That was in just slightly out of position, but Arguna's got a nice bit of heal. Receive Harvest and his Drifting Dark. They've gone under Sentry, but that's a big heal from Lyra. But Arguna out of energy. He went for the Journey Boots. He hasn't got that sustained energy sustained from having House and Chargers. So he's going to get some potions. That was Idris slightly out of position. Lyra came down, but Idris is already back. So he Timber striked on top of Iron Gudai, but Iron Gudai was stuck on top of the gauntlet, so Idris knocked out and got stunned again by the gauntlet. There was a second gauntlet which stunned again Iron Gudai. So it's unfortunate for Idris. I don't think it was poor plays, because you don't expect your carries to be standing on the gauntlet wall when you try and jump into them. And so it was unfortunate, and good poke from Shingy though, managing to get the goop onto Trophies.
Well, yeah, definitely that was really good play coming up from Chingy. There's something I must point out to the viewers though. Both of these teams, although we see it objective-wise, it's kind of leaning towards the side of Eanix. But then if you're looking at goal difference, it is negligible, right? It's just a 1k goal difference for the side. Oh, they might be...
Oh, they want the Kraken. That was argued. I taking the Kraken with Eanix. Well, Popeyes didn't know. I didn't even know they were taking the Kraken. I thought they were just backing off. And so that's such a big, important objective for Eanix. That's an infusion for Trophies. He's got himself 3 damage items and a heavy steel working towards probably a breaking point as last damage. So Popeyes need to fight now. They can't let the Kraken push.
Oh.
Gauntlet double stun. Second gauntlet is not going to be available again. Arden accidentally echoing something else, and so the gauntlet Echo wasn't actually up when Arden used the gauntlet, so he couldn't use that on for a second gauntlet. Fountain used, and Arguna's going to be stuck outside of his Drifting Dark. Trophies wants to go in. The echoed heal from Lyra just getting Trophies back to full health, and Kraken is very healthy. There's the arcane passage to get Arguna in. Trophies wants to go in, but he's actually not. He's just going to push the turrets. Eanix just wants to take the win. And Popeyes are forced to go to their base, but there's Arguna and Trophies are on the base. That will be game 1 for Eanix. Really well played. They managed to sneak one Kraken, and they could just team fight far better than Popeyes could. As you said, it probably wasn't the most comfortable picks for Scarf and for Kestrel.
Well, yeah, maybe not for Scarf. I mean, going back on my records, I do see Chingy playing Scarf once or twice throughout the series, but it is really just down to forcing Aeon 222 on this Castro that he is just not comfortable with at all. Like I said earlier on, the team comp coming up from the side of Popeyes is just so much stronger in the early game, and yet we do not see an invade coming out from the side of Popeyes, and we don't even see an aggressive play coming out from the side of Popeyes. Just going through the builds quickly, like you said, we do see an echo coming out from Rubber Monkey, and of course double war threats for the side of Eanix just to increase the chase potential. There is one thing about Iron Gudai's build that I must point out is the Journey Boots instead of the Halcyon Charges. Because Iron Gudai, or rather Samuel as a hero, you do not output the amount of damage consistently. To actually to just lower the cooldown on your Journey Boots. So that is one thing. I'll prefer that Halcyon Charges pick up on Iron Gudai just for that long sustained team fights that Popeyes is going for. All of the team fights then, they are so extended, they are so long and drawn out. So honestly, I think Iron Gudai should just settle for that Halcyon Charges instead of the Journey Boots. But else, I think throughout the builds are rather meta. There is really nothing much. It's just that Chingy got 2 boots. probably that's a last-minute buy as well. And
yeah,
of course,
just in base, just trying to rush towards to save the Vayne. That was all it would have been.
yeah, I mean for Aeon, he's got 3 damage items up, but then I hope for more dynamic inclusion of Aeon in those team fights, because a lot of times he's just poking out from the outside like that of a Crystal Castro. So that is something that weirded me out, for instance, and of course Tessa Boy just echoing the wrong things in all the fights. So it is well played.
Yeah, well, it was he couldn't use the echo at the right time because the fight was breaking out and he had to gauntlet, but the echo wasn't up for another 5 seconds. He's like, oh, I don't want to wait because then our team's just going to die. I'll just use it, echo something else. So it was well played from Eanix, as you said. But for this second game, the draft is ready. So without further ado, we're going to go into the draft.
Well, coming into the draft, I see that the side of Eanix, or rather Popeyes, do actually have that advantage as first ban, first pick. So they are going in for that Baron as first ban, and I'm not surprised if they do pick out that Fox for Aeon 222. But then again, of course, Eanix can just ban out that Fox as well.
Yeah, I'd expect Fox to be banned. Again, just because it worked last game, as you said, Aeon is so comfortable on Vox. If it's not banned in the first phase of bans, it's going to be picked up immediately. So they ban it away, it makes sense. I think Lyra is probably going to be picked up again. We saw how strong Lyra was. If you build an Echo and get a little bit of health, that's 1,000 burst heal. Because you can just get 2 Imperial Sigils off and burst heal it, gives you about 500. So that's so strong, and they do pick up Lyra. And they're countering with Grace. They're not going to let Grace get banned away this game. They're going to pick it up straight away. Grace really strong early on. She's no invading straight to the enemy backs before you can even take your jungle, unless you've got the carry and the jungler together. So Grace really strong, obviously, with that divine intervention, can do a lot of burst heal and can counter that Lyra. So we're going to see mortal wounds come out from both teams almost certainly. They might go for an Idris ban. We saw how strong Idris was in the last game. Unless they want to pick it up as Team B, you can pick it. They could pick Idris next. It makes sense to ban it away now, or maybe just ban away some like in the first ban previously. That might be unlikely.
Well, they might ban out that Castro though, just so forcing Aeon into another carry that he's not comfortable with, or even just banning out that Idris, forcing Aeon into that Castro once again. But problem with that is that there are no other available good weapon carries, ranged weapon carries at least, unless of course the side of Eanix are very comfortable with that Ringo. Of course, they are going to ban out that Samuel. They do not want to play against it. They do not want it being played against them as well, or they do not want to play it as well. So Samuel, I think, is a good ban. He provided a lot of poke in the previous game, but I don't think Samuel was really the problem. I think the side of Eanix should consider banning out the earlier game heroes just to counter Chingy, or even just that Scarf or Celeste.
I think Chingy feels comfortable that if it's an early game hero, Chingy thinks, I'm going to win this, because it's just so comfortable on those early game heroes. We saw the Grumble, we saw the Koshka. I don't think Chingy's worried about the enemy picking an early game hero as well. Kestrel ban, it makes sense. Kestrel really strong, even though it didn't win the last game. It was a real hassle to try and play against, and it's a really good flexible pick. You can either jungle or lane. I think they're going to go Celeste. They're going to go for the poke. They want to go for their comfort pick on the Celeste instead of going for Scarf, as we saw Scarf in the last game being picked. They've got a lot of options they could go here. Against the Celeste, you can play Attacker. Attacker works well.
Well, yeah,
I'd like to see Idris because obviously it's good. You could go Ringo. Ringo can work well in Celeste because if you can dodge out the core collapse and get on top of Celeste, she's not going to be able to get away from you. If she boots, you boots, and then that's it. That's all Celeste disengage. So Ringo's a good weapon back out that could also work.
Yeah, I think the side of Popeyes might actually just settle for that early game Adagio and then the Grumjaw pickup on Chingy. That is what I'm thinking. They might not go for it. They might just go for that Koshka, but then that will make them. They might go for that Koshka, putting that Adagio as the weapon carry. That is highly unlikely. So I think the Grumjaw, we will see the Grumjaw for the side of Popeyes. If that is so, then we might actually see a game 3, because we saw Chingy on this Grumjaw and he's just incredible on that particular hero. Anyways, we are just waiting for the last pickup coming up from the side of Popeyes. If they are going for the Koshka.
Okay, you said I don't like it. I don't like the weapon it does.
I don't like it as well. No.
It kind of works, but if Kestrel's bad. Obviously Kestrel beat Weapon Adagio in when we saw this double heal Weapon Power Adagio before. We saw Kestrel just destroying. But there's so many other weapon power carries you could go. They're going for Grumjaw. They could have gone Idris. They could have gone Ringo. They could have gone Gwen. Anyone's going to beat Weapon Adagio because they're a weapon power carry.
Yeah.
Adagio's a crystal power carry or a captain. He's not a weapon power hero. Grumjaw with that damage reduction with living armor, really good. They're going to try and be early game against early game. So it's going to be really a good fight in the jungle.
But I think
around level 2, level 3.
But I think the side of Eanix has just got that stronger early game because okay, we are looking at the team comp right now. They have a Grace, they have a Celeste, and a Grumjaw. Celeste's initial power spike is when she hits level 2, and then the next power spike is when she hits level 8. Level 2 is what I want to talk about because of the core collapse. It's such a good AOE stun. I think it's the best stun in game, although not the longest one. I think it's
really.
Is it not the longest one? I think the longest one is from from Hell's Heart.
You think it's one of the best stuns? You think it's one of the best stuns in the game? That's
not the most reliable. Yeah, I don't think it's the most reliable stun, but I think it's the best stun because it's the only stun in game that is team wide without applying any effects first, like that from Adagio. So with Adagio, you need to apply like the fire, but and then there's team wide stun. But as for Celeste, she gets it at level 2. It's a team-wide stun. And of course, they have the stronger team comp because damage reduction-wise, they have the Grace to provide the directional damage reduction, and of course, living armor for Grumjaw as well. Whereas on the side of Popeyes, they are very fragile. I mean, you are looking at Koshka. Koshka is a really good early game hero. You have the buff from Adagio when Adagio gets to level 2. So it's comparison. It's comparable. The side of Eanix is just tankier in the early game. A lot more CCs as well in the later part of the game. But for the side of Popeyes, they just got more damage in the early game. But then at the end of the day, I must say I really like the team comp coming from the side of Eanix and not Popeyes. Granted, they have double sustain into a Koshka, but in the later game, it is just that Koshka that's going to be, trusted to output that damage. If not, then they are looking snowball the game really, really early on. And which Grace and Grumjaw and even Celeste can kind of stop all forms of snowball.
Yeah, Eanix definitely gonna wait till late game. They can obviously invade, and I think they will try, because if they can stop Koshka invading you, then she's gonna fall off even quicker than she normally does. And obviously Grumjaw's strong. Celeste, as you said, she's known for her level 8 late game power spike, but she's also really quite strong early. She has a lot of damage and, as you said, a lot of CC. And so I think Trophies is going to be rotating down to help Shingy a lot in the jungle. And obviously, if it gets to late game, if it gets everyone's fully built, Weapon Power Adagio can't compete with either Grumjaw damage or Celeste damage, really. Because Weapon Power Adagio just isn't that kind of hero. Shingy will be spotted porting home. That's a free mid-tree for Vainglory. Interesting, Shingy isn't going in yet. Just wanting to get home, get boots, get some defense, and then gonna get a little bit more gold experience before actually deciding to try and invade the Grumjaw and Grace. Grace is really strong early game. Didn't actually go for the boots. We tend to see Grace going for sprint boots really early on because she has such high move speed. So if you get sprint boots, that just compounds that. And we are seeing a lane Celeste. You don't generally see that. Just was going to go low. The Holy Nova just going to miss. Good Imperial Sigil. Pop with my Tesla Boy to give them the movement speed out of that Holy Nova. Grumjaw and Koshka both just farming up. I'm sure both of them are thinking, I really want to fight. I really want to go in. I want to try and invade. If I can win this early game, we'll win from there. Actually, she's going up to lane. Pouncing on 20 death onto our monkey. Lots of empower basic attacks. Trophy's just going to low on energy. He actually said can't really compete against Aeon. Just wants to try and grab as much farm as possible. Aeon's doing well to freeze this lane. Shingy has been going to walk out of the bush and be spotted. Trophy's is so low energy that he can only basic attack for farm, which isn't where he wants to be. Actually, we saw Argudo go into the jungle, but there was a scout trap there, so he was spotted. He didn't know that, and I think he knows. He was called.
That was so
down, so he's going to port home. Good decision for Eanix to shout, "Hey Shingy, Lyra's going down. You've been spotted."
Yeah.
So he got home. Greedy port, but you're always going to get away there. No one is going to attack you before you port home.
I mean, just look at a CS-wise, granted, Dajo has got a wave pushing into him, but then even without Heliogenesis and Energy, Traffy's is doing really well, relatively well, yeah. With regards to CS, of course, I mean, he's sitting at 30 CS at 3 minutes, he just turned 3 minutes. But, you know, there is one thing that I'm not understanding right now. Both teams has got very early game team comps. And yet, 3 minutes in, there are no major skirmishes that would claim first blood. Yeah? No. And there is one thing that we must note is that Chingy, his damage falls off so much in the late game that he must make use of the early game at this point in time. Instead of just farming passively alongside that of Grumjaw. Granted, you are going up against a Grumjaw, you may or may not win, depending whether or not Grace is there to babysit Grumjaw. But even then, Grumjaw will out-damage you in the later game, especially with the current meta. Oh, Chingy is going into lane.
She was setting up through the jungle of Eanix, but there was a rough monkey in there, good holding over, knew that Kosh was rotating, so Choffies is going to be okay. There's a flare to check that Choffies can push the wave in, and so he will. It's good that I think he's going to go in. Nice core collapse. Start Tesla Boy going low. Rough monkey going to boot towards Tesla Boy. We're not quite going to get that retribution basic attack. I'm just going to back off. Tesla Boy is nice and healthy from that Imperial Sigil. And I like how Choffies is being very defensive till he gets a flare from a monkey in the enemy bush, so he knows Koshka's not there, I can push. But he's not pushing unless he knows that Koshka's not trying to kill him. Koshka is level 6, so this Yummy Cat defensive available and it's going to be used on Choffies. There's obviously not a block, we're only 4 minutes in, so that's going to be Choffies falling. Nice double core collapse stun. But Shingy's just too strong. Jedi hasn't quite got the stuff yet, because he was not quite farming as effectively as Shingy is. Shingy's getting some more solo farms, some more solo levels. And Jedi's going to try and stop this turret. He must be level 6 quite soon. Just get a couple of the CS, but Shingy's going to dive onto the turret. Just a little bit of poke, and he's trying to get this down with some empowered basic attacks. But Choffies is back. He's going to boost in for Shingy. And actually now go to Aeon. It's a nice basic attack. And there's the stuff. It's up. Jedi hit level 6. He's going to fall almost. Aeon's going to pick up that kill. Shingy tried to survive the fountain, and now it's all on Choffies. He's very low. Aeon's going to dive to the The block was up for Choffies. He baited the basic attack from Adagio, secured the kill from the turret. Gobjaw's got his tension bow now, and Tesla Boy's going to try and get it with Imperial Sigil. Not going to be enough. Choffies can now farm up. Tesla Boy hasn't got any real damage, so Choffies going to get this wave, and then there's another wave, so he'll probably get that before he ports home and gets a bit more energy. I like the fact that he picked up a weakness block. As soon as he died to level 6 Koshka, he just bought a block. It's so important against this Koshka.
Yeah, I mean, competition at this level, very early custom or itemization is really needed, especially for teams. When you have a Koshka just lurking around, just waiting for the catnip frenzy, just to pounce in, stun you up for that 2 seconds. You know, honestly, with a reflex block, it is a very reliable block up to that, and it's quite an easy skill to block as well. So kudos to Choffies for building that. Building that. Frenzy
onto IMU die in the jungle though. He has got his stuff available now, but he's already too low for it to even do anything. Cheese doesn't get the basic attack, and that's an easy pickup for Koshka. Grubjaw caught out. But I did have a block, but it just wasn't used. He wasn't expecting Shiggy to be up. Choffies now going to try and get core caps onto Shiggy, but she's too quick. He's not even going to try it. Going to get core caps. Double stun onto Tesla Boy and Aeon. They're actually going to be stunned twice by Rough Monkey and Choffies. They have that double team-wide crowd control, which if Choffies manage to get a triple stun and Rough Monkey is in position, that's a very long triple stun if they combine it with the Holy Nova. Arguna's going to go in. Lovely ball walk from Lyra. He boots and then tried to use the hangry, but so the grumpy but couldn't get in. I'm sure it'll be grumpy that one was cancelled by the white ball walk. And I'm happy with that one. But now he's probably going to pull here. Koshka was there. Oh, in 30 seconds, but he's got the stuff. He's going to walk towards Aeon actually, and that's going to be not quite the Holy Nova. So Aeon's going to do a lot of damage actually. Solar Storm from Celeste, not quite landing, not quite picking up Shiggy. Shiggy's going to have to back off. He's got that aftershock now, but argued I did fall, and Shiggy managed to get away. So well played from Popeyes. They managed to catch up Grubjaw when he tried to take away the mid tree, and he's going to respawn now. and just work towards that 10 mode all tyrants.
You know, honestly, the side of Eanix, they should stop all forms of aggression at this point in time.
Stop.
Yes, just stop all forms of aggression at this point in time. There is no reason you would win a Koshka that has a heavy prism and of course an aftershock as well. And of course, Adagio at this point in time, at 8 minutes in, 10 minutes, ooh.
There's the ball going to be used after the Echo Passion. Shingy's going to dive this tower. Good stun from Trophies with that core collapse. Monkey's going to go in, but distribution quite going to land. And again, just both teams backing off. That was a good disengage from Eanix. They've still got the Divine Dimension and they've got the stuff. Speaking of stuff, up draws on Divine Dimension on Trophies. Slightly, no, not slightly early. Ultimate Celeste. It was bang on time. And Shinky not quite going to get that Imperial Sigil. It wasn't popped while she was standing on top of it. Now Angry wants to find Shingy. They can still win this fight with K. He's going to grab the P into that bush and Shingy can easily get away. Speed boost off the gold mine. And Eanix, another good disengage, a good fight. The combination, the fact that he's stuffed Celeste, Rubber Monkey channeled the Divine Dimension and Celeste channeled the Solar Storm. As soon as the Solar Storm was used, Shingy was down and got hit by it. So I thought Celeste did it too early. I thought, oh, they've mistimed this. They need to work on their coordination. But no, they don't. They just did it on literally to the millisecond perfectly.
Well, yeah, definitely. I must say, initially I thought as well that Trophy will send out a premature Solar Storm, but that didn't quite happen. I wanted to make a bad joke there. But I'll just keep it in. I'll hold it in. But anyways, like I said, Eanix should actually stop all forms of engagement at this point in time. Best they could do is just disengage and then re-engage when they have a more favorable position, because simply Desert Boy is at level 7 now. Just one more level to overdrive the Imperial Sigil, whereas Rubber Monkey, you only have 1 point. Ooh.
And here we go. There's going to be Arcade Passage to get Popeyes in the top this time. They get the combat and stuff out of your Yummy Cat. That's unfortunate. That's not going to land. Snowstorm hits Shingy, but again, not quite going to connect fully. That was a good stuff from Glumshaw. I think he'll say he meant it, but I'm pretty sure that was good timing from IQ9. Shingy wants to get this turret quite low. Probably is going to fall. Monkey's not going to land that front. Not going to land that. Holy Nova, but actually Trophy's going to boost in. He's going to go on top of Aeon, and that Supernova doesn't quite land onto Tesla Boy. It's going to be okay. And they're going to try and push this return turret, so Popeye's turret is going to go quite low now after Eanix's went low, but Aeon's going to try and clear this way. Shingy's up in lane, there's the other Captain 20 in 12 seconds. Ikudai again stuffed in 15. Shingy's very low, the heal from Adagio will keep her alive. And both turrets very low, both teams want to push it. Popeyes are going to leave this turret to fall. They're not even going to try and contest it. Shingy's going to try and get a mid, but Ikudai's already got it. And that'll be first time going to Eanix. They'll be happy with that. Close the gold deficit they are under, and just get towards when Celeste power spike, which is so much stronger in late game.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, Celeste is already level 9, has got that overdrive on Heliogenesis. So Celeste would have would come out with more zoning capabilities at this point in time. And I think this is where they should start picking out their fights. Not before. Ooh, I agree you die. Actually, not going for that tension.
A different Glumjaw builds. Yay!
A different one indeed. And not.
I hope
yeah.
That's the tension by Solar Blade. I hope that's tension by Solar Blade.
Well, yeah, I think it will be tension both into Sorrow Blade, but then honestly, I really like the build. If it's going for that's just
turret's gone. Popeyes just need to push a little bit, and that turret will go down. I think this Glumjaw build is smart. Koshka's got defense immediately because too expensive. But there's the Arcane Passage and there's the White Ball. There's a lovely double stun on Tony Nova and the Storm going to get Shingy very low, but so's Ikudai. Nice. He just zone out Aeon. So that's not quite with the Frostburn yet. Still needs to port home to get either a Broken Myth or a Frostburn. So I don't think Chuffy's really wants to fight, and Popeyes know this. He's going to try and stop importing Shingy on the back line. Quite low, but if he dives in, a nice 4-clap stun. Followed up by Holy Nova, not quite going to land, but just going in. Stuff isn't available yet, but he's going to get a kill before he dies, and he's still not going to die yet. He's really wants to shop. He got 1,600 gold, so he's not going to chase Adagio on full health. And
Yeah,
I
mean,
couldn't quite get angry you die. And so they're just going to back off. Eanix happy again. They got another favourable team fight.
yeah, I mean, this is when we do see that Chingy is starting to fall off. We do see a 1k gold lead in favor of Popeyes, but that's about what's going for them. You know, when Celeste hits the power spike when she is the level 8, and after Grumjaw picks up that second attack item, be it Sorrow Blade or even that Tyrant's Monaco that we commonly see, it is a very good power spike for the side of Eanix, because they are working towards the late game after all. We do see an Echo being picked up on Grace, so then we will see an Echo, a Divine Intervention. That will make, Divine Intervention a skill in itself. It is already so frustrating to deal with, yeah? Because honestly, they heal you, Grace heals you when you're about to die, and an enemy thinks that he's got, Chingy is going in.
Mechanic Frenzy not blocked by Celeste. Holy Nova will be blocked by Koshka, and that Celeste bursted down immediately. She didn't block up the Mechanic Frenzy, which I'm sure Truffies will not be happy about. Stuffed. Killed out of the stuff, Grumjaw's going to fall. 2 kills going over to Popeyes. They should be able to get a gold mine or a turret. Turret makes more sense if you want to get the map control as opposed to the objective if you can. And they're probably going to get the gold mine anyway. I'd expect to see Truffy's Solar Storm on the gold mine, just because why not? It'd be unlikely to steal it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Solar Storm on this gold mine, it's possible. We might actually do see. Oh, okay, nope, we do not see it.
He didn't fancy it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Popeye is coming to this game. They are playing very well. Chingy is on a hero that's very comfortable with, and of course, Aeon is rather comfortable on this Adagio, I must say. But then again, the side of Eanix, it's as if they're not playing to the best of their heroes. I mean, I agree you die, yeah. He's one of those players that he's known for trying to end that game as early as possible. He doesn't have that late game patience, if we must put it in words. Just do not have that stamina for the late game play. And then we are seeing him making a lot of terrible decisions, just going in for the Koshka. And one thing about I Agree You Die from all his previous play that we've seen is that I Agree You Die usually just goes in without a lot of support from his teammates. There was one fight that we did see that Celeste manages to run out. Oh, they are looking for a fight right now.
It's the Arcade Passage and actually the Grumpy using the stuff on Koshka, but not quite landing on top of Celeste. But that's good poke from Celeste. The other Mechanic Frenzy, he can land on Scrumpshaw. There wasn't a block available on Frenzy to keep him nice and healthy. He's going to actually fall so quickly, so much damage from Aeon. He's weapon power Adagio, and she's going to get the Shreem to keep herself healthy. But Truffy's got and Anki got the Divine Intervention, but he just fell so quickly to the Adagio. Speaking of Adagio, he's going on top of Truffy's, and Truffy's will probably get the kill with the turret shot. No, the heal from Adagio is enough. He'll survive and be absolutely fine. This weapon power Adagio is just showing that, even though I don't think it works very well, Aeon's just playing this superbly. He's diving in, he's not being focused down at all by Grumjaw, because Grumjaw's going on Shingy, which is not Shingy or Tezzaboy, and that's not what you want to do as a Grumjaw. You want to be diving on Aeon. He doesn't do any defense on you, so you're going to be able to kill him. And that's the stuffed going to come out from Monkey Knight, blocks up the tree route. Shingy's by the center tree. He's going to land an Atlas, but will die to the right dimension. And this is now a 3v2 for Eanix. 30 seconds before Koshka respawns. They can either get the Kraken, or they could try and bait Kraken and just take a team fight. So they're going to start it up. I think Celeste should be fine at securing this. We've got a team against the Supernova. Should easily secure the Kraken. Popeyes definitely going to look for the steal, and they don't want to fight. If Eanix don't want to fight, there's no reason not to go for the steal.
Celeste
should get it. Yep, Celeste got it, obviously.
Yeah.
You could Supernova on your Helio. It does so much burst damage that you shouldn't let them steal that away from you.
Well, yeah, definitely. And I must say though that the skill kit on Grace, yeah, Divine Intervention, You would think that the ultimate of Grace, the heal, the messed up heal, would be called Holy Nova. Yeah. Right.
No, get it. Come on.
No, because you messed up just now. So I was like trying to think from your point of view whether or not Grace actually got the kill via divine intervention or got the kill via Holy Nova. So that kind of messed me up anyways. I'll just hold that thought.
He's going to go for the stuff and use the arcade pass to get through. He's going to block up for the arcade frenzy nicely, and Shiggy's going to try and stay healthy with that heal from Lyra. And the fountain jumping to life, jumping to be absolutely fine. Ael's going to get stunned up by the core collapse. Now Chucky didn't fall to the Adagio. Grubjaw's just trying to go on to Tenderboy. And the Dwight Bulwark wasn't quite in time. I'm going to get that. Not quite because of that Imperial Sigil from Lyra. Angui's going to Grumpy in. He's got his hand again. With the Imperial Sigil, clutch saving his life. And this will probably be just this one next turret for Kraken. Eanix far too low to get any more. Koshka's already up. Adagio's up now. And we saw Shiggy try to dive Celeste. Celeste blocked the Captain Frenzy, that was expected. And then could easily burst down Koshka. And if she can Celeste can just stay outside of Adagio's range, then Eanix should have these team fights pretty easily.
Well, yeah, and we saw just now, I agree with Daya on this. Grumjaw did something that was rather curious. He stuffed out Aeon 22 on this Adagio and brought him really far away from that team fight. And the usual combination we see with Celeste, Grace, and it's just Celeste and Grumjaw would be stuffed into a core collapse and hopefully a solar storm. But instead, Angry Udai ate up Aeon 22 and brought him so far away from the fight that half of the fight when Trophies actually took down Chingy and possibly Tazaboy at a fight, there was no sight of Aeon at all. So I think this is one of the strategy coming into this game. But I personally think if they can actually work better, coordinate better, and then chain stuff into a core collapse, a mass core collapse at least, because Chingy will have to be in the forefront as well. Yeah, and then shoot out a solar storm at least like 5 or even 4 broken myth stack. I think that would be enough burst to take down Aeon or even Chingy on that Koshka, on that Adagio and Koshka respectively. Maybe not take them down, but probably get them low enough for them to retreat, because Grumjaw, we saw, he's got great chase potential as with Grace as well. So if they get them low enough, they can chase.
Look at Popeyes, they're hiding. Tezaboy's got the arcane passage. There's vision in that bush. I don't think that flare got them. I think they're still hidden. Eanix know that Popeyes are waiting somewhere, and they're actually just going to expose themselves now. But Monkey and War Shreds away, so they did back off under Sentry. Stuff not going to go through the wall, and that Thunderstorm is going to connect on Shiggy again. Down to half health, but that's a heal from Adagio and Lyra gets Shiggy back up to full health. And Eanix is going to fight around the Sentry. And despite the fact that Eanix want that Kraken push, look at the vision control from Tezaboy. There's scout traps everywhere in both Popeye's jungle and Eanix jungle. Gosh, to get that Captain Frenzy got up, neither is Grubjaw stuffed. So Eanix is going to port home. They saw Popeye pushing the lane. Now Popeye's going to respond by immediately going straight to this Kraken. I think Rough Monkey's going to run towards it as quick as he can, try and get a flare on that Kraken pit, so Celeste can try and Solar Storm to steal it. But Popeye's waiting in the bush, showing you're going to be flared out by Rough Monkey. The fusions are up for both of them. Lots of flares. There's a double fountain for Rough Monkey and I Angry You Die. That's good. Aeon's caught out, and so is Koshka. Who are they going to go for? Eanix are going to go for the Koshka, and they had the opportunity. Popeyes will split. Trumpy's going to block up the Arcana Frenzy and block away. Household Chargers give you a 3-second sprint, which is so long that you can just run away from Koshka. Well, there's going to be Poke trying to build up some broken mist stacks on Celeste. Gudai has got the stuff. Koshka hasn't got her Yamikante Frenzy, so she doesn't want to go in. But the wave's pushed up, so Eanix going to back off. So will Popeyes. Both teams just no one wants to take the Kraken because they know that the other team is going to be there pretty quickly.
Yep, they are just going to reset. They are just going to go back up, clear their lanes, and just hopefully they are posturing now for a fight. Yeah? Oh, Ursula Storm is thrown out at Kraken, but Kraken is not being taken at all. But we do see the the item build up on this Grumpjaw. I started so much there because I actually forgot the name of Grumpjaw. I called him Doggo. Like I wanted to say Doggo because of his new skin. But anyways, they are going in
Let's
for
see
a
the
fight.
okay pass is going to go in. The white ball won't stop Grumpjaw from getting out. And Celeste's going to just boost away. Preemptive stun, thinking Shingy would go in. But that was an arcane passage down and a war shreds and both boots down. Eanix used absolutely every boots possible to run away there. Celeste has got an infusion, House of Chargers. Scrap that, she sold her House of Chargers and got journey boots. So she's now going to the Kraken again. Not for another 30 seconds. They're definitely not taking it, Celeste. You can keep ulting it, but you're not going to secure Kraken by just ults. That doesn't quite work that way. And so Celeste, with that journey boots, it's now decided that the way I'm going to win this fight is just run. If I can run away from Koshka, I'm going to win the fight. So I need journey boots so I can keep doing that. And Eanix don't know where Popeyes is. They're all hiding. There's a lot of hiding from Popeyes at the moment. And now they're going to come out towards Eanix, and they're going to find Grace is shopping. Ruffy's going to run to Grace and try and stay alive. 890 massive heal. But there's a diamond, there's Shingy. And that is going to be Ruffy falling so much damage. And now Eanix have got nothing. They've gone for the support Grumpjaw. 2 damage items and a fountain. He doesn't do anywhere near the damage a weapon Grumpjaw should be doing. And the Rubber Monkey is going to fall. Going to be the sacrifice. Now Argudai is just going to get back into the base. He hasn't got anywhere near enough damage.
He doesn't at all. And yep, and that was the thing that I wanted to point out just now before that fight actually broke out. Grumpjaw is trying his best to stop whatever that the side of Papa is gonna do. But then, honestly, you're Grumpjaw with no damage. You managed to take down Tezzaboy, maybe? Nope, not even Tezzaboy.
No, and that's game for Popeyes.
That is game for Popeyes. I mean, just look at Grumpjaw's build. You have that tension bow, you have that early game spike. Your problem really is just that you did not have that any damage to follow up that of trophies. I mean, I understand the concept behind it. It is basically just sandwiching that trophies. Yeah, you have Grumpjaw to peel for trophies, but the problem is that you are inherently tanky already with your living armor. There is no reason for you to keep going in for that, second fountain and then into an Atlas Pauldron, probably a Crucible as well. I would prefer it if you die on this Grumpjaw, just match the damage coming up from Chingy item to item. Yeah. Granted, they have like Aftershock, they have Broken Myth, but then what you have, you don't have a breaking point to support that burst coming out from you. Whereas Chingy, the longer he stays in fight, the better his damage becomes because of that Broken Myth stacks building up. And of course, very good build up of that contraption coming out from Tezzaboy as well. Usually we would see an echo coming out from Lyra, but Lyra this time opted for the contraption just to increase the vision coming out from their team, just to match Trophy's heliogenesis. So really good game, really well played coming up from Popeyes, just to match team comp coming out from Eanix. Both of them have got similar team comps, but then when execution wise, I think Popeyes came out on top in the end.
Yeah, it was just that Shingy would dive on top of Trophies, and Iron Gudai wouldn't dive on top of Aeon. Aeon was free to just go on top of Celeste, get some basic attacks off, and pretty much kill Celeste immediately. Celeste with no defense, not even an Aegis completed. And so Aeon was free to do damage. Celeste had to just run away, and Iron Gudai was kind of just there, a little bit of damage, but he mostly focused the roam or focused Shingy, which is fine. Shingy's got an Atlas to slow his attack speed down, and he didn't go damage, didn't focus Aeon. So that means Celeste can 1v1 Koshka, that's fine, but she can't 1v2 with the Grumpjaw just not doing any damage. So I think he should have gone, if he went Tension Burst Solar Blade, that's fine, but then build into damage. Tension Burst Solar Blade Tyrants or Tension Burst Solar Blade Tornado Trigger, but a third damage item was just needed. But that is 1-1 between these two teams, so we have got a game 3, and the draft of the third match is ready. So without further ado, we're going to go into the draft.
Right, jumping into the third game between it's not impunity. Popeyes and Eanix and Popeyes. I must say that Grumjaw did not put up quite a performance coming up from that Iron Greed Eye, so Grumjaw shouldn't be that of a problem. We do see coming up from Popeyes, coming up from Eanix, we do see that Vox being banned out for themselves.
Yep. Every game we've seen Eanix ban away Vox, they just don't want it to be played by, don't be played, and Baron again banned away. If you as Team B, you're never going to go to pick Baron, so they ban it away. Lyra is very similar drafts to like all the games that have been played between Eanix and Popeyes today. They want to pick Lyra, they want to pick Grace. We're just going to see a mirror draft of what happened last game, and then they're going to ban Samuel and they're going to ban Kestrel.
Oh wow, you are spot on with those bans coming out. Honestly, I don't think the side of Popeyes played, not the side of Popeyes, sorry, the side of Eanix played well to their team comp at all whatsoever. The honest reason is because I personally think that Grumjaw is so much stronger as compared to a Grace, compared to a Koshka in the early game if you have a Grace. But instead of doing that, they played really passively in that previous game and just allowed so much breathing space for the side of Popeyes, and that was what that went wrong for Eanix. I think Eanix itself, they are a really strong team comparable to that of Popeyes. We saw them play yesterday and they were very convincing. So honestly, coming to this third game, just this tiebreaker between both of these teams, I like to see both of these teams play to their strengths, understanding where their power spikes are. We do see that Samuel banned out, that Baron banned out, like similar to that of that previous draft. And of course, coming up from the side of Eanix, we do see a Baptiste being banned out.
Yeah, Baptiste ban. We haven't seen a lot of Baptiste played. Saw him a little bit earlier today, but he's been banned quite a lot. He's a good counter to a lot of mobile heroes, and most heroes on the fold are very mobile, especially Grace. She has so much range on her.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you kind of cut off, so we'll just continue with draft. Popeyes will be going for that Adagio yet again, just Aeon 22, Aeon 222 on this Adagio. I must say, he went for the Castro in the first game, and for the second game, he opted for this Adagio, and it's quite an interesting pickup because we do see that, oh, you are back, welcome back. So we do see that.
I don't know why I went.
Yeah, so we do see this Adagio being picked up for the side of Popeyes again. So they might run that early game team comp, although in response to Adagio, we do see a Glaive being picked up. I think that Glaive is really good into Adagio. What are your thoughts, Speedy?
Yeah, Glaive's good. You can afterburn Adagio out of the Burst of Judgment, and also if they decide to go Weapon Adagio again, then they might go. Then you could punt Adagio away from your team, away from that scarf that they're going to play. So I like the fact they're going for the weapon lane Glaive instead of going for a CP Glaive and going for weapon carry. This could be countered by Baptiste, but of course it's been banned away. So that was a really good ban. Baptiste is great into Glaive and good against Scarf with that fearsome shade to get her out of her Dragon's Breath and the Ordained to lock her in place so she can't do Dragon's Breath. Koshka could work here, but they're not gonna. No, I don't think they should go Koshka. The weapon Adagio Koshka, it worked last game, but obviously I think weapon Glaive is actually going to go damage this game. So that means that you can't just have two people diving onto Scarf and leave the Adagio to die to Glaive, because he will die quite quickly. I think Celeste could work. They could try a Celeste with weapon Adagio, because there aren't that many, unless they go for on-hit Grace.
Yeah.
Like a weapon power, it's more of a CP Grace or a Crystal Power Adagio in the jungle. Then they could do a weapon power lane like an Idris, who's Glaive really good against. They could try Kestrel, but I think they're more likely to do a weapon Adagio because there are just so many more stronger CP junglers.
Well, yeah, definitely. Or they can go for that weapon Glaive, weapon Grace, just to pair up with that Glaive. Problem with that is that there is a Lyra constantly there to provide that bright bulwark after all. So we might see a weapon Grace. If that is so, then of course we have the Rome Adagio, and they can go in for that crystal, that Celeste, just to pair up, just to outpoke, or just to compare poke with that Scarf, or they can just go for that early game early game Koshka again, because Koshka paired with Rome Adagio is very, very, very strong. And then they have double healing. This time, if they are going to go for the on-hit Grace, not on-hit, sorry, a weapon Grace and then a Rome Adagio, that would amplify the healing even so much more as compared to the previous game when Grace was there as the Roma, because generally the Captain Adagio would just want to build health or defense items that boost health anyways. So I'm quite interested to see what's the last pick, because the final pick will kind of decide what the teams and the players would go on that certain hero. But I'm not surprised if you do actually see the Captain Grace and of course that weapon Adagio, then completing that, of course, a Crystal Carry in the jungle.
Yeah, I think the problem with going a weapon power Grace is that every single bit of Grace's kit scales with Crystal Power. All of her abilities and her basic attacks scale with Crystal Power. And so it seems crazy to go weapon power Grace, because you're just taking away all of that scaling. Your A does a bit more damage, and your basics obviously do more damage because your weapon. When you're Crystal, your basics still do quite a lot, and you get a bigger slow when you go Crystal Power. And so I think they should go either CP Grace or they should go Rome Grace.
Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's either on-hit Grace or that CP Grace that they're talking about. Anyways, what is the problem?
The last pick was Koshka. The drop time wasn't quite working properly.
Okay, so as expected, coming out from the side of Team Popeyes, they are falling back to double heal comp, and then of course that weapon Adagio will be placed in lane, and of course we saw Chingy and how strong Chingy is on that Koshka. So I'm not surprised, and I'm sure you're not surprised as well to see Koshka yet again coming out from the side of Popeyes, and Chingy will be on it. Honestly, looking at draft itself, I must say it just goes down to execution, because I reckon it's either that Glaive will be in lane, but I personally don't think that they'll put a Glaive in lane. There is this feeling in me that they are going to put that Scarf in lane just so that Glaive can go on a 1v1 with this Koshka. Yeah, but then again, they might just go against me anyways, which they always do anyways, because I personally think that Scarf into Koshka is just not a very good jungle, early jungle for you. Koshka can just like go all over you and just rummage all over you. So I don't think it's a very clever pick if you're going to put the Glaive in the lane and then Scarf in the jungle. But then we are going to see trophies on that Scarf. We are going to see a Scarf being in lane, and then of course Angry Udai on that Glaive will be in jungle contesting with Chingy.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think that it's a very similar draft from both teams. Obviously, Popeye's going for their double heal Koshka comp again, just Grace instead of a Lyra, and Eanix going for a Crystal Power Mage, a healer, and a weapon power jungler to try and peel for the Crystal Power Mage. I think this should work better than the Grumpjaw. Glaive's Afterburn is up more often than Stuffed, and in some ways is better. Because you can push Koshka away without having to run away yourself. With Grumpjaw, if you want to eat Koshka and push her away, you have to physically run away yourself and then plop her down somewhere else. But Glaive can just afterburn Koshka away, even if Scarf gets stunned, Glaive can just punt Koshka out of that stun. As we see, Tesla Boy is going in aggressive against Rough Monkey. It makes sense with Grace. You want to go aggressive early on. You're so quick that you're not really going to die because you can just run away. But I think Iron Udai will be much better off this game if he goes for at least three damage items, because that's what he needs. He needs to burst Aeon down on his weapon power Adagio, and he needs to be able to make sure that either Aeon buys defense on Glaive or Glaive will kill him. Because in the last game, Aeon did buy defense on Grumpjaw, and Grumpjaw didn't kill him. Iron Udai going to obviously take poke from Shingy. Shingy's much stronger early game, but he's Glaive. He'll be able to get away without any.
Well, yeah, definitely. There is one thing I must say though. We've seen Iron Udai on this Glaive, and he would usually go for at least 3 damage items on this Grace, unlike the previous game. And hopefully he does. And oh, that's a bit yawn. And and there is one thing that I must say though. If Iron Udai on this Glaive do actually go for the on-hit Grace, I'll be severely disappointed. And And because in the previous game, Glaive played like another sub role, basically like a sub tank role, or an off tank from other MOBAs, basically like an off tank, just a support role, and that isn't really needed from a Grumjoy. You really need the damage just to compare damage into Chingy on that Koshka. So
and Glaive's gonna go low again, but he's gonna have to run away. Chingy can basically take whatever jungle you want on Koshka, because Glaive can't fight you. Glaive just has to afterburn defensively every time because Koshka's so strong, and she's going to probably hide in this bush, wait for Glaive. Glaive did not see her, so she's going to actually rush up to lane. Scarf could be in trouble. Monkey's going to spot out Tessa Boy, and she wants to get some farm, but Glaive just standing by my back, taking them as soon as they spawn. So if Koshka tries to invade, Glaive's already taken the jungle, which is really smart. Aeon's actually quite low. Good poke from Scarf in lane. Tessa Boy and Aeon just going to back off back to the base. Koshka wants to invade, but again, there's nothing up because Iron Gudai's just taken it, so we can happily afterburn him.
Oh yeah, but we do see the damage coming out from Chingy just with 2 crystal bit. They are going to go for, Chingy might find himself in a very tight situation now.
Chingy will be able to get away. He's going to try and port. He's probably going to try and steal this minion away. Won't quite get it. Chingy's not in a good position. There's after 2 seconds from Iron Gudai. Good holding over from Grace, picking up 2 kills. Picking up 2 stuns, sorry. The first blood will go over to Koshka. It does look like Iron Gudai's going to boot switch. Chingy's going to try and run, but will not be able to get away. Chingy's boost was not up because Iron Gudai boosted after her. And now Grace is going to go to Glaive's backs and he's going to try and get them. Iron Gudai is also going to the backs and he's spotted Chingy's trying to steal them. Afterwards up in 1 second. And that's going to be 2 backs for Glaive, nothing for Tessa Boy. And Iron Gudai is going to get his farm and be really happy that he's got a kill on Koshka, and that Koshka did just delete him early game because he could run away really effectively.
Yeah, but I must say, I really like this item build-up coming out from Chingy, with that Heavy Prism first as an item, then building into an Eclipse Prism, and ultimately that Aftershock. So, Rubber Monkey is getting really low again.
Yeah, he's going to Imperial Sigil away and be fine. Tessa Boy, however, is going to Buffer Monkey out of position. Koshka now under the turret. A lovely goop from Scarf to keep Koshka under the turret. If you don't ignite it, that goop gives it probably, I think, it's the largest slow in the game. It's slightly bigger than Flicker's once Flicker got nerfed. And so that's just Truffy's just using that goop to keep Koshka under turret. And then once he was going to be out, she's igniting it. Nice afterburn, getting Aeon low, so he has to back off towards the turret. Iron Gudai just going to port home, and Truffy's going to push this wave in. Glaive has now picked up the detention bow. Looks like he's going to be going towards the tornado trigger or a breaking point or weapon power damage. Doesn't look like he's going for the on-hit Glaive, which I'm happy with.
I'm glad for as well.
Stormcrown.
I hope I do not see a Stormcrown on Iron Gudai, and I think both of us share similar consensus that we just want this Glaive to be that weapon carry that he never was in that previous game. Chingy is going for Rubber Monkey again, but they are going to back off after all. Like I said earlier on, this game looks rather, like I wanted to say, rather even, right? Just kills being traded out, but then Iron Gudai is coming up to late.
Yeah, that's a big wave for Truffies, but you've got a goop who're going to clear that very quickly. Shingy is level 6, so that's a Yummy Cat Frenzy available, and unlike in the last game, when Bubjot hit level 6, he got his stuffed. When Glaive hits a little bit of sustain, and about 10 more damage, and that's it, because Glaive just his ultimate is pretty useless on weapon power especially, has a little bit of CP damage. So that's a big power spike for Shingy. However, Iron Gudai needs level 8 before he gets his real power spike. Glaive's going to get him, but the Uppercutting Frenzy under Sentry, risky because there's the Imperial Sigil and there's Truffies as well. Lovely after from Glaive. Fountain was used, but it's a little bit late, and Shingy is going to fall. Doesn't quite have enough gold for the Aftershock yet. Still went for the Heavy Prism moving to Aftershock, and now Glaive's going to dive to Tessa Boy, but that's Grace. You're not going to catch up to Grace. She's too quick. Just going to take the Trin away, and we'll get it. Just using the to secure that with Glaive, and just Eanix rotating back up to lane. Got a kill on Koshka. I'm sure Iron Gudai is very happy with how this game is going.
Well, yeah, I mean, Iron Gudai.
On to Aeon, there's the slow. He's going to stand still and try and kill him, but it's not going to work. Like, going to get some good basic attacks onto Tesla Boy. Not quite going to dive turret too deep to get him because we're Koshka's rotating up, but you can't do anything. There's 3 full health members of Eanix, and you've just got a turret. The Shiggy's going to try and kill his wave, but I doubt we'll be able to stop the Scarf taking this turret if she wants to. It's going low. I reckon Shiggy's going to try her best to take down these minions. Arguda's on the turret, but there's Aeon boosting towards the turret to stop it falling. So that's only about 1/3 health left on the turret, but it did not fall. So well played by Aeon, getting back to lane really quickly.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, their response, they're really, really quick. But then Truffy's on his Scarf. We cannot deny the fact that Scarf has got such good siege potential. I mean, objective clearance coming out from Scarf is just insane. And that is the reason why Scarf is generally placed in the jungle, because of how fast his clear is. I agree, Dai kind of struggled in the early game against his Koshka, but after getting that tension bow, probably building into the breaking point, which I'm happy seeing, and I'm sure you're happy seeing as well. Just a lot of damage coming out from I Agree You Die. It is always good for a glaive. They are coming up. All 3 are in lane. All 6 are in lane. They will be looking for a fight.
I Agree You Die's going to go into bush. Mechanic will stun him up, but he got the offspin out just in time. So now he's going to go in, and that is going to be I Agree You Die falling the mountain and pop on the front of it. It wasn't enough. The burst from the after was too much. Now Truffy's is taking the same thing. Divine Intervention on Shingy, get her back up to full health, but Monkey's going to counter that by saying, okay, you've got 400 heal, I've got 306, and mine's already up in 2 seconds. And so Truffy should be able to spend this turret. Scarf could just clear this wave so quickly that there's really no chance of almost to take the turret down. This is going to go into Truffy's, and Shingy's going to get the turret very low. Scarf needs to take that minion out. Now the turret will get a barrier. Arcane Passage on. Bruce trying to get on top of Shiggy, but she's got a sleeper who's going to get away. There's the Dragon's Breath, and don't want to dive on the turret, so just Dragon's Breath for minions, I guess. if you use it wrong, might as well secure some farm, and this will be a return turret for Eanix. I doubt Kosh is going to get there in time, but actually Truffy's is low on energy, so we'll be able to get a Spitfire and a Goon just about, and yeah, Kosh is not going to be able to stop that. So 1 turret each, but a 2k gold lead for Eanix is really good. You're up against the Kosh.
Well,
you want to be ahead.
Well, I mean, that turret on the side of Eanix hasn't been quite taken down. It is really, really close, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not... Oh, they are going in for that gold miner.
Beast has no energy. The fountain's alright, but you need energy, Scarf. You can't just basic attack for that much damage. So Shiggy did go low, so he's also low on energy, so we're going to try and do the wall jump, but Dave's going to arm hunt away. And Ael's going low, but Arguda that is going to fall. And that's going to be Koshka wanting to go in, taking some poke from the gold mine. And Truffy's full health, no energy. That's 4 people walking home, and no one wants to fight right now.
You know, I personally do not think that I Agree You Die, that move by I Agree You Die is a very clever or intelligent move coming up from the side of Eanix. Only reason is because you must know that Scarf thrives on this energy. If Scarf do not have energy, and if you do go in for that afterburn, there is no setup at all for your team. You are just running head first into a team of 3, waiting to just perish. So it's just a misplay coming out from the side of Eanix, but then they are still holding well. Scarf has got very excellent, very good wave clear. There is no reason the wave will be pushed so hard into Scarf. Oh, Tesla Boy is taken down to half health.
Tesla taking some poke from the Spitfire and Goop from the Scarf. There's no turret for Popeyes that they can fall back to, so they're going to have to go to that tier 2 turret, and Eanix going to rotate down, look for some jungle, or possibly look for the gold mine. It'd be risky. Obviously, Popeyes are going to look for the steal if they do go for it. Infusion's picked up the Scarf and Koshka, and they are popped immediately. There's no slots available, so both Scarf and Koshka are infused. Steal is going to be tried by Tesla Boy. Lovely ball walk. He strolls away like it's nothing. I do this every day. I steal gold mines with my basic attacks. Aeon using the weapon power dodge extremely well. We saw him comfortable on it in the last game, comfortable on it in this game. That's good. I think that was tension by proc as well, which was smart. He let tension by proc try and steal that gold mine. Waves pushed, but afterwards cut Koshka away. That being the other direction, Koshka probably would have fallen even with the reflex block. Machine is going to back off, get her farm, and Eanix want to push this wave in. Adagio's taking the farm with Koshka, so he's not in the best position. And Eanix going to get this turret a little bit poked down. It's going to back off, push the wave in, and Scarf's going to run away. Shiggy wants to try and chase, but not too deep. Shiggy's still just going to get her farm, and both teams are going to back off. Nope, but Desmo's going to go in. Just a little bit of poke from both. Desmo down with that overdriven benediction. So he can really dive in from far away, but after not quite on the uppercut defense, he's going to land. Went to Goop from Scarf, gone up, yeah, so that was a good punch from Shiggy. There's the Goop, got some damage onto there's a boy who went in and Goop forced the fountain to be used so that he would survive that Goop from Scarf. Aigudai is low, hasn't quite got a block, he's going to get one now. And I like the tension burst on lane, but I was worried he wasn't going to get a third damage item. It looks like that he's not going to sell the Drift Shooter. That will be probably a Tornado Trigger, maybe a breaking point last item on Glaive. So that means Aeon has now built tier 2 defense on Glaive, whereas in the last game he got an Aegis and nothing on Grumpjaw. In this game, a Dungeon can't go 4 damage or else he'll die to either Glaive or Struffles.
Well, yeah, there is one thing that I would like to point out. And it's that a lot of these fights, they are kind of going back and forth. Even just looking at goal difference and the kills across the scoreboard, it's just one kill in favor for the side of Eanix. And even its goal difference, it is a few hundreds goal difference for the side of Eanix as well. So, honestly, and a lot of afterburns coming up from Angry, like, ooh.
But Shiggy's going to take it after. We're going to block the stun. Here's the Dragon Smash from Scarf. We're going to finish. We blocked up. That's going to be Koshika falling through. Glaive going to lay a nice 440 heal from Lyra. That's the stun. Instable. Aeon's going to get the final mention and will be healthy. He's actually going to get the kill on Glaive. Truffy's is going to go into Aeon. Spitfire's going to land. Another Spitfire is up. There's the Goop. Going to get a little bit of poke. Aeon's going to try 1v1 with some stutter stepping. He's going to do a lot of damage. I don't think Truffy's can really contest this unless he lands another Spitfire. He knows what Aeon is. He's not in that bush. He's going to get home. Greedy port. Overpowered. That's how you port home. You just start it. They're not going to stop you. Get in the bush and just port. That's always the way to do it. So Aeon did manage to survive when it looked like he shouldn't be able to. He saw the damage Weapon Adagio did. He managed to secure the kill on Glaive. That Shiggy might have picked that one up, and then basically stopped 1v2. Stopped Truffy's diving in to try and secure the kill. So they really need to respect this Adagio's damage.
Whoa, yeah, definitely. I mean, just looking at Aeon and this Adagio, it's just incredible because we would think, yeah, Weapon Adagio, they do not generally have that damage, and we go on and on about it as analysts or even colorers or even just shoutcasters in general. But then Aeon on this Adagio is proving us wrong, and we are saying that I Agree You Die is going in for that poison shift just because we saw the amount of heals that Grace brought out on this. That is always fun to see.
Bubble walk, stopping that Grace in the attack. The stun is going to land. He was not blocked. They've not after he pushed her away. Truffy's going to fall immediately. If Koshka gets on top of Truffy's is just going to die. Glaive hasn't got defense. Double kill for Adagio. Glaive not really after Tezaboy, which wasn't really the target he wanted. Shiggy's going to be healthy again for that divine dimension. Grace. Echo was used on Grace to get that second heal, so that's really important. Lyra's trying to get one, but hasn't. I think it's about 250 gold away from getting it. Lyra wants to steal. He's got an Imperial Sigil. He's going to wait, but no, the Imperial Sigil went too quickly. He's going to basic attack it, or maybe walk it to try and steal, but he's not going to get near. And Arcane Passive, just to make sure you're okay. It was worth it to go for the steal. Obviously, Adagio stole the gold mine, and that's just all three immediately. Popeyes immediately taking the Kraken, immediate port home. It does make sense because they know Eanix aren't going to be taking Kraken immediately, and so if they'll port home straight away, they'll be back pretty much for when the Kraken's by the first turret.
Well, they are going to plan a siege, and they are going to take this first turret down. It is just one hit away. Anyway, the goal difference wise, ooh,
lovely. Holy Nova going to get triple stun there from Grace, and the other defense is going to land onto one monkey. There was no crucible available. One monkey's going to fall, and Shiggy once more going to dive into Truffy's to get a nice barrier and just be able to get away. Truffy's and Aigudai going to go to their sanctuary. Echo is now being picked up on Lyra. Fusion of Truffy's there. Popeyes are going to get a third turret where they probably wouldn't have before. They only expected to get 2 turrets with that because Truffy's has so much Kraken damage as well as Iron You Die. They both take Kraken very quickly because Koshka managed to ult-buff Monkey when the block wasn't there, and managed to kill Lyra really quickly. That meant Truffy's and Iron You Die had to just back off. They just couldn't. They couldn't fight. They couldn't try and stop the Kraken taking the third turret. So it's a really good push for Popeyes. They get 400 extra gold per team member of them as compared to what Eanix got.
Well, yeah, I'm just looking at across the scoreboards. We actually do see that Truffy's is being hyper-leveled, hyper-farmed. Just looking at Angry Uda is sitting at a mere 53 CS as compared to Chingy, who has 83 CS just jungling alone. There is one thing that if the viewers haven't pointed out, and we haven't quite talked about it as well, it's the lack of control coming up from the side of Angry Uda whenever he afterburns it. He afterburns it, and it's not the lack of control per se, but it's almost as if Angry Uda, whenever he afterburns, there are a few times, okay, Tessa Boy is going in.
This was going to go in, but Yusa Koshka is now free to engage. Oh, he wants to go to Truffy, he's going to get onto Monkey to try and close the gap. And Truffy's just going to poke from afar, get some broken myth stacks with those Spitfires. Good poke onto Aeon. Aeon with a full Aegis though. Truffy isn't going to be that bad. Holy Nova not going to land. That was boots used by Truffy to get away. Yep, defense he was blocked quite easily by Angry Die. Shiggy got 880 heal. There's the Echo on the intervention. The Tenthboy's got it up again. Echo not available for another 40 seconds. So Popeyes is going to back off. They used pretty much everything they could to try and engage, but Eanix used everything they could to disengage, and they'll be fine. Glaive with his 3 damage items, a bit of defense on Adagio, still no Aegis on Koshka. It's risky. Scarf, Truffy's again going for that glass cannon, Crystal Power Mage. Eve, Frostburn, Broken Myth, and Clockwork. It's the standard 4 items. Shatterglass has seen not a lot of use on Crystal Power Mages recently because the utility you get from Frostburn, Eve, and Broken Myth, you just need those 3 items. And so Clockwork gives you cooldown and Crystal Power amplification that you might as well just not bother with the Shatterglass, even though, unless you go 5 damage item.
Well, yeah. I mean, Angry Die on this glaive hasn't been lending a lot of the crucial afterburns, I must say. And although like people go like, oh, but you know, he's doing well. He's afterburning it, he's initiating. Problem with all of his initiate is that it's either he put himself in a very unfavorable position. If not, then he goes in and he punts the main carry away from the team, like what he's doing with Grumjaw and using stuff as well. Like when he was on Grumjaw, he stuffed the carry away from the team fight. As with but then the problem with stuff is that you can bring one entire team, right? So you force it into a 2v2. But then if you are a glaive, you go in, you put yourself in, you jeopardize your position as a carry for your team as well. They are going to start cracking. The side of Eanix will find out.
It will be spotted, and Truffy's wants to steal this. Scarf's good at securing Kraken. That's good. The offense did land. Tony Nova not going to be connecting on Truffy's, and that's going to be Aeon almost falling. He's surviving just about, but he's going to pick up the kill, and Scarf will probably get that Kraken with Dragon's Breath. There it is. Scarf gets the Kraken. Shiggy's going to fall. Just the arcane passage, white ball walk. Not up. Shiggy's going to go through the arcane passage. So Truffy's gets controlled by the arcane passage. Oh no! And Shiggy will survive. There's no scout traps to kill her. She'll be able to port home in the bush without any trouble. And to be fair, that was a Kraken going over to Eanix. They'll be happy with that. They got a kill onto Aeon. They showed that they could kill Aeon despite the fact that he healed for so long. He survived just his health going down and up so much. Glaive good to get that because he had the damage to do so. Lovely snare onto Shingy. Truffy's will be able to get a lot of poke onto mainly Tenthboy actually. Glaive has fallen. Aeon is actually back up, so Truffy's immediately noticing that, bootsing away. Truffy's is now going to try and poke this turret down. The boot's not going to land on the turret, just Truffy getting engaged, and that's the Dragon's Breath. And Popeyes realise we can't take this Scarf when she's Dragon's Breath, using her Dragon's Breath. We're just going to let the Kraken get that turret, and we're going to back off. Truffy's once more just going to poke out really, try and make this Kraken get a couple of shots on the main first fake crystal turret. But I doubt Truffy's is going to go anywhere near overextending. Glaive is ready. So if Popeyes do dive into Eanix, there was a Glaive ready to afterburn and get them into position. Aeon is now fully built, so that's a big power spike for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, both of the teams, their base have been cracked open by Kraken, and just going back again, looking at the goal difference, there is none whatsoever. I agree with that. Is now just farming up, just hoping to get his item soon, his defensive item soon, so he could stay in the fight for a little longer. He has gotten that tier 2 boots, and then Atlas Pauldron has yet to complete that Aegis. But then, like you said, Aeon on that Adagio is starting to look very scary with completed items, with Aegis, Journey Boots, Shift into Tyrants, Tension Bow, and then of course Breaking Point, just for the long sustained team fights that they are going in. We do see though, if they actually just focus on Aeon, there is really nothing that Chingy can do. Because Boy, although he has got an echo on that Divine Intervention, it is one burst heal that can miss, and then Boy is going in.
Holy Nova nowhere near landing. He's going to use that Imperial Sigil speed boost to get out of the Holy Nova stun from Boy. And now Eanix, really good disengage. They've got a Lyra, they have one of the best heroes for disengage with Lyra, and especially with Glaive to pun Shingy away if it gets close. Shingy actually going for the double coat of plates, which is good against this Glaive. I expect one of them will turn into an Atlas, and one of them turn into a Full Metal Jacket, but she's actually going to just get her boots back up again, so they're available, and just pop an infusion. So not yet, maybe just sticking on those 2 coat plates instead of going for any tier 3 defense, because if you have slots available, it's pretty gold efficient to do so.
It is definitely. They are looking to take this Kraken. I think the next fight would be around this Kraken. They are just refreshing their infusions on both teams. We are looking at 6 infusions across the board. We are definitely going to see a team fight really soon, or in the next minute or so.
There is no gold lead for either team. It's
exactly. It is dead even.
Dead even. 23 minutes in. You hardly ever see that. Shingy's going to get a lot of points from the group, and then Jasper just preemptively, if Costa tries to dive in and get up on the Dajo, you haven't got the first, going to be blocked up nicely. Yep, Divine Intervention on Shingy, and that's Glaive going low. And that's Imperial Sigil to keep Glaive healthy. Both teams, again, someone tries to dive in, but Eanix have such good disengage. There's still an Arcane Passage from Lyra, so they can disengage even easier. And everything's back up for Eanix, but not quite for Popeyes. Gosh, he's having to get defenses up another 20 seconds. The Echo is up another 30 seconds. This is going to be a good fight for Eanix. They're under Sentry. They have all their abilities up. And Popeyes are going to try to get the Sentry down, but he's going to have to back off. Gosh, ult is up soon. Grace's ult is also up soon. So Eanix, if they try to continue poking out, then Popeyes could try and turn on them. But I think Eanix is going to try and sneak it. They're going to get it. Popeyes have no idea.
Eanix is going for that cheeky Kraken, and I saw just now the side of Popeyes could actually have won that team fight, because Crucible was up, Aegis was up for Boy. Not Aegis, sorry, what is that called? Fountain was up for Boy. Bennett, Divine Intervention was up for Boy, and yet they only fell back because Divine Intervention landed on Chingy instead of Aeon. And that was the main reason they fell back. Anyways, Popeyes is looking. They are looking.
Bush, they're waiting, and they're not going to go for it. They're being boring. They're going to take back down. But minions are actually pushed into the turret, but I doubt they'll do anything. Scarf they couldn't really overextend, and now it's going to be offensive. Going to land onto Glaive. Wasn't blocked up. Scarf used the block, but it wasn't on Scarf. Argued going very low. Dajo going to get good basic attacks off. Truffy's going to boot in. Because of the war treads from Rub Monkey, and Truffy's is happy, just take the poke, let them try and kill me. We've got Kraken banging on your crystal turrets. But I mentioned landing on Koshka, but that's the first turret down. And Popeyes realise they want to base rush if they win this team fight, but they're not going to. Aeon's so low. They're just going, Aeon, the forward there's a mention, another one for Grace. She seems to have them all the time with that Echo, and Popeyes are going to try and chase. Truffy's is so happy with this. The Kraken's taking turrets down. He's going to get the kill onto the Dungeon. And that's going to be killed by Truffy. Tensorboy's going to fall. Double for Glaive. That will be the Kraken taking the turret. And that is game 2 for Eanix. And they have the chance now to get out of the bottom 3.
They do indeed. That is a really good game, and in fact a really close one between Eanix and Popeyes. It was really interesting as well in the last fight, because we saw something that we usually would not see, and that is Trophies was just allowed free poke. And there was this one time I saw two groups that's on fire for the side of Eanix. And that's really rare. I mean, that fight went on for so long, but their main target was I Agree You Die, and I Agree You Die just did not go down at all. Trophies was just allowed free poke. And, you know, Trophies just managed to, you know, build up all that broken myth stacks and then just turned around and finally just released the Dragon's Breath onto the side of Popeyes. Popeyes definitely had that very early game comp, but it went down. It was so close. Like we saw 17 minutes in, or was it 20 minutes in, and the goal difference